ensure that everything is working. All right, I'm just testing. Let me check my iPad. Y'all. Today is going to be a really good one. It's going to be a mixture of mental health and a little bit of woo-woo, because I feel like we've been talking about mental health and cultivating happiness and inner peace since last week, but I really want to drive it on home for the people today. I just want to drive it on home for the people today. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday or was it Wednesday? I don't remember. We were at the park. Okay, it probably was yesterday. We went to the park and we talked about current news and different things of that nature. And I want to touch on that really quickly. And then I'm going to drive okay, we're live. Okay, and then we're going to drive, excuse the noise. Okay. We're going to drive my points home. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I have all of my notes written on paper. So you know how it is. You know how it be. Okay. So yesterday we talked about current news. All right. And I want to make a point. Okay. Because I want to make a point, because this is not a political channel. Okay. And I know that some people like politics and different things. It's like very touchy, very touchy subject. Hey, how you doing? Common sense. Hey. All right. I feel like politics is a touchy subject, especially with everything going on in the news and stuff. But here's the thing. I'm not a political person, but at the same time, I don't want to come off like I'm ill-informed, especially when I say things like I don't watch the news and I don't, like I'm apolitical and different things of that nature. I don't want to ever come off like I am like above it all or just out of touch. You see what I'm saying? Like I would never want to come off like that. But as it relates to mental health and mental wellness, I have to be the way that I am. But I don't want to be dismissive of other people's problems. I don't want to be dismissive of the struggles and different things like that. And even when I say other people's problems, I don't want it to come off like I'm not a part of the struggle and different things. Like these things that are happening in the world don't affect me too. You see what I'm saying? And I don't want to come off like that. And I don't want to be polarizing, as it relates to things that are happening in the political sphere. However, I do feel like when you are on social media and you have influencers and content creators who get their money from the people, right, that they are influencing and different things of that nature, it is a disservice. And it's a little disrespectful to not speak on certain things, right? And I get why they don't. A lot of, influencers and content creators are beholden to advertiser friendly content. There are things that you can't say or you will be not making money. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. And then it's a little hard to even speak on things because everybody has a different opinion and your words can be taken out of context. You see what I'm saying? And, nobody wants to go through that, especially when you're making money on social media. You want to make sure that those dollars and cents, flow. And they don't care whether or not, like they don't, I don't want to bring up specific things, but it's just kind of like if we're doing a boycott and you have a product in a specific, place that we are boycotting, then you have a conflict of interest. And so you can't speak on these things that address everybody because you are trying to get a dollar. And you see what I'm saying? And see, I'm not like that. That's why I have to do my meditation. Like, do you really want to be an influencer or do you want to be a content creator? I want to be a content creator. I want to create the content that I want to create. Hello. Yes. Hello, Melissa G. I'm going to read it in a minute. But I want to create the content that is useful, that I would find useful, because the type of content that I value and like, I don't really see a lot of it. You see what I'm saying? And so I want to share, but at the same time, I'm not a person of, constantly harping on problems. Okay, because that's what the news cycle is for. I want to focus on solutions. How can we help people, individual people? Because if we help individual people, then the collective gets, healed and made whole and different things of that nature. But I don't ever want to come off like I'm not informed. Very, very informed. You see what I'm saying? But I know that social media is not the best place to share, even though it's supposed to be. It is not the best place to share, how you truly feel about things, because, it can be polarizing. Everybody have their own opinion, and some people are more in tune with making you feel the way that they feel rather than having a healthy discourse. And I'm all about solutions, not about problems. You see what I'm saying? I know that problems exist and they happen all over the world, but at the same time, I don't believe in constantly staying in a problem-oriented environment. Okay, and I'm going to talk about why. But really quick, let me read the chat really quick. All right, it says meditating more and staying away from negativity. We're going to talk about all that today. I'm going to give y'all some tangible things that you can do. So in my other video, I was just testing y'all. Next week for 4th of July, I'm going to visit my mom. And I need to know, do I need to bring my computer and my whole little setup, or do I need to just use my phone and my iPad? So I was trying to test out mobile streaming to see what all do I need to be packing up. And it looks like I'm probably I like that it was on mobile and stuff like that, but I don't know. I like being able to sit down and stay focused and different things like that. When I'm outside, we're going to talk about what happened while I was at the park. But yeah, y'all, we had fun at the park. We did, but I was not able to focus on everything. Okay. I was not able to focus the way I need to focus to do my video, the way I like to do my video. Okay. All right. So I just want to share that. Okay. I just want to share just recounting yesterday. We did a nice little, I'm going to keep the video up and I'm probably going to change the thumbnail, but we were at the park, and that is a way that you can cultivate inner peace by leaving your environment and going somewhere else that is pretty, particularly outside at the park, just grass and green. The color green is going to help you in your brain because it represents equilibrium. It represents balance. Okay, so it's going to help you psychologically. Look, all this stuff, I research all this stuff, and I could provide you with research and different things, but you can do that yourself. But it's just green it's the color of grass, it's the color of the forest and different things, that it's designed to make you feel a little bit better. When we're in fluorescent lighting, when we're in different cubicles and beige and black and white and different things, it takes you out of your natural element, and it's better for you to be in nature. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about why I my bad. Hold on. And I hope I'm not talking too fast. Okay. Today is Friday. I have a good look. Friday is my turn of the day. Anyway, let me go up here to why I decenter. I got a different emoji that I use today. Okay, why I decenter, and I have a whole list. Okay, I have a whole list on why I decenter the external. Okay, and I talk a lot about the news, and I talk a lot about social media and different things of that nature. So the first thing I want to talk about is propaganda is legal. Okay, it's always been legal because it's free speech. Everybody has access to free speech, good and bad. What I consider the truth and what you consider the truth is different. And that's not even the problem. The problem is we have more access to information, right? When we're on social media, and I timed it for myself, I can look at 100 reels, 100 shorts, 100 TikToks in the span of 15 to 30 minutes. Okay. And it's when you're scrolling, you see multiple things, and they have nothing to do with each other, or they might, depending on where you are. You might go down a rabbit hole, and before you know it, you have consumed so much information, and it's what am I supposed to do with all this information? What can I do? And don't be watching something that is emotional taxing, right? Emotionally taxing. There would be anything happening that is police, you know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff, or the laws. Or the judicials. I just seen that today. I woke up today. Yesterday we talked about how we was waking up every day and the news cycles was getting worse. Okay. Now listen, when you are on social media and you're seeing, say your news cycles, the news cycle is designed to keep you in fight or flight. Okay. People are more likely to make the decisions that you want them to make when you keep them in a system of problem, reaction, solution. And the solution is going to be whatever you want them to do. You see what I'm saying? And you have to make the people feel something. And it's like we're in a constant state of fight or flight. And that dysregulates your nervous system and you are stressed out. Cortisol makes you gain the weight. You see what I'm saying? So we have to reduce, okay, our stress. We have to reduce all of that, you know, and so we decenter what's happening on the outside. The other part is it's hard with so many people sharing their opinion online. It's hard to know who you can trust because most people are influencers and content creators. Just like you can be sponsored for a particular product, you can be sponsored for a particular idea. Okay. And I'm not going to go into all of it. You can do your own research, but people can be sponsored for having a particular idea, for believing a particular thing and promoting it to their followers. People make a lot of money with that. Okay. And so you have to be careful. Like, am I being influenced to believe something without doing my due diligence and doing my research? Look, I'm a librarian. I believe in research. Okay. I believe in research. I believe in, you know, being unbiased. You have to be objective when you're consuming media and different things of that nature. But we don't have that. In fact, they work to dismantle libraries and reading and critical thinking skill. Okay. And so if you know these things, we'll get to mindset shifts later. But if you know these things, then you can arm yourself to be a better consumer of the media. Okay. But I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to ever feel like I'm talking at people or that I come off like I don't know what I'm talking about because I make light of, you know, things. Because sometimes that in itself is a mindset shift and it's a coping mechanism. Okay. So anyway, the other thing is it's hard to hear in a noisy room. It's hard to hear the inner voice. It's hard to cultivate inner peace when it's loud. Like if you're trying to study and you have friends and everything, they're listening to all the music is loud and different things. It's hard for you to ingest what you need to do. You can't self-read when it's loud outside. When you got people around doing you get off track because your environment is so loud. So it's important for you, and if you want to cultivate inner peace, inner happiness, you have to do what you have to do. You might have to be isolated. You might have to be in a quieter, more, you know, sustainable environment so that you can get your life together. It's called silent sustained reading for a reason. Silent sustained. That's my favorite thing when you need to be quiet so everybody can hear, you know. And so, yeah, the other part is I believe in only taking in what will make me stronger, things that will make me smarter. If I can't do anything with information, then I don't really process it like that. You know, I only process information that will make me smarter. I need to have a use for the information. Sometimes I, you know, keep random things. Like sometimes I look up the history of macaroni or the history of pasta, like because I want to know the history. Like who thought it was a good idea to make a croissant? Because this croissant is delicious. Where did it come from? These are the types of things that I like to look up in my spare time because I'll be eating something. I'm like, who thought this was a good idea? And I want to, like, I collect random bits of information, just trivia and different things of that nature. But it's just kind of like random things that are happening to people. Like I was watching something real and somebody was getting put out. This lady had packed up this man's stuff in a U-Haul. And it was funny. He deserved it. I'm sure he did. But it's just kind of like, how many of those are we going to be watching? Now, here's the other part when I was talking about, you know, critical thinking on the internet, right? Now they have deep fakes. And deep fake is getting weird. It's getting weird. The AI in the deep fakes. here's the thing. I got to get to my mindset shifts, and this is going to be a mindset shift. But something that you should know is that everybody is up in arms like, oh my God, AI is getting so advanced, so advanced, so advanced. What if I told you that, you know, technology, when it's given to the consumer, it's old news. They give you the scraps. They give you the hand-me-downs, and they keep the best stuff for themselves, like rubber. Rubber was used for NASA and the government and different things of that nature. But when you get it, it's on sneakers and different things mass-produced. So technically, AI is already having a wonderful time. It's already, you can expect things to be worse than what you think they are. Okay, that's gonna be in the mindset shift. But it's just kind of like, if you know these things, then you know nothing really surprises you. Because when we get our hands on it, of course you're gonna have people doing the things that they're doing. You know, creating different, because we make things in our image. And we're not all good people. You see what I'm saying? And so you can't get upset because we're doing exactly what we've been doing. They doing exactly what they've been doing. Is it messed up? Yes. And do we need, regulations? Absolutely. But is the likelihood of us having these regulations and different, I can't speak on that. You see what I'm saying? Probably not. But you should be more concerned with what are things that they put on TV. It's not what we thought it was. You see what I'm saying? You should be more concerned with that, because what else are y'all doing? If you're doing that and what else could you be doing? And if you start thinking about what else you could be doing, listen, it's not fun. It's not a fun thing to think about at all. Okay? All right. The next thing is why I decenter. It took me a long time to have peace. Okay? In fact, we just now getting our peace, regulated. You see what I'm saying? But it took us a long time to decenter everything around us and to focus on ourselves and cultivate the peace. And so now that I have my peace, I'm going to keep my peace. And I don't care what is going on outside of me, but I'm going to have my peace. Now, am I a narcissist? No, I'm not. I'm empathetic to other people and what they are going through. I'm empathetic to the struggles of others, the movements of others, but it's just kind of like, there's so much going on. And to think that one person can make a complete difference, you see what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't want to say that, one person can't make a difference. It's just kind of like, and I don't want to say that I'm burning my cape, because I feel like that is a sentiment that a lot of people have. I'm not doing it. I'm helping out in a different way. What comes to mind is Cat Williams and First Sunday, singing. That's how we help. I'm focusing on how I can contribute to helping people in a way that is normal to myself. Okay. And sharing tangible things that have helped me, maybe they could help you, and so that's what's important. And decentering the environment is, you have to do it. Why do we have to decenter our environment? Because if like, history repeats itself. Okay, I don't know if we on mindset. Okay, let me go. I'm gonna go out of order. All right, history repeats itself. Okay, a lot of people have this sentiment that we're next. Well, everything that has been done, or what you think would be done, has already happened. It has already transpired. A lot of the TV shows, like I forgot the name of the show, just that quick. Handmaiden. That has already happened to Black women. So I'm confused. You see what I'm saying? That's why I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about all that, because it has already happened to us. That's where they got it, the idea for TV. It has already transpired. You see what I'm saying? History repeats itself. How would history be able to repeat itself? Because there are, I don't know if some people, I don't know, but we have these two traits. And these two traits are going to increase the likelihood of the same thing happening over and over and over again. The first trait is going to be arrogance, believing that you too good for something to happen again, believing that you are a snowflake, that this could never happen to you. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, that could never be me. That would never happen to me. Arrogance, because it could always happen to you. The worst thing could always happen, right? Next part is ignorance. Refusing to have and arm yourself with information. Refusal of critical thinking skill. The first thing they have to do is get rid of education, books, librarians, people that are over history. Because if you want to change history, you have to get rid of the people that would uphold history. You have to get rid of people that speak on history, can tell you what happened, and can be thought leaders on this. You see, you got to get rid of the librarian. You have to get rid of the person that keeps the books. That's the first person that got to go, because they the one that know the truth. If they not on your thing, if they not on your program, you have to get rid of the librarian. You have to get rid of people who know the truth. You have to get rid of people who are educated. Because if you know that 1 + 1 is 2, you can't tell me that 1 + 1 is 3. You just can't do it, because I already know it. But if you get people who are easily pliable and will believe anything at face value, right? No critical thinking skill, then they're more easy to manipulate. It's easy to do these things because they don't know no better. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, they will do whatever they will go along with whatever you got going on, because they don't want you to be educated. They don't want you to know anything. They don't want you to, yeah. Because if you know the playbook, then you know how to respond. Gotta get rid of education. Gotta get rid of the books. Okay? So that's their ignorance and that's their arrogance. These are things that will have history to repeat itself over and over and over again. I'm sorry if this is not the typical content, but it's just kind of like, I want to make sure, because before we talk about happiness and how to achieve inner peace, we have to talk about, the bad stuff. What you can't be the enemy if you don't know what they got over there. You can't fight somebody if you don't know what they got going on. You need to know everything, okay? And it all starts in your mind. That if you believe anything other than that, I don't know what to tell you. But to have inner peace, to have happiness, you have to know what you're up against, because we live in a world that it's crazy. So how can you have sanity in a crazy world? If the world is sad, how can you really be happy? Okay? If you live in a world where they want you to be slaves, how can you be free? If you live in a world that it wants you to be dumb, how can you ever be informed? You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, you have to cultivate inner strength, but you can't cultivate the inner strength if you always on the outside looking for external validation and looking for messages to come from outside. That's why they keep us busy. They keep us busy. They don't ever want us to sit still. They probably not going to ever have another sickness, right, that is designed to keep us at home. In fact, they needed us at work. People starting businesses. You sit at home too long, people get bored and they start talking. They start trying to figure stuff out. We at home. We trying to figure it out. They need you at work. They need your time to be occupied. They need these things, okay? And so if you know how the world is set up, then you know how to combat these systems, because it's systems. It's not just one little thing keeping you from being happy. It's a whole entire thing at play. And, we don't have a lot of content creators talking about that, from a balanced standpoint. You might have some people with the conspiracy theories and different things like that. Not saying that that's wrong, but I believe in being, I need everything to be tangible and concrete. I need everything to be on Earth. You know what I mean? Like, we could be talking about all these different planets, but I am on Earth. We're having an earthly experience. So I need life to be right here, and that's what I believe in. Let me see what else I'm talking about, because I don't want to go off the deep end. Okay. All right. Mindsets. Another mindset shift that you need to have as an African American, like I said, everything that has already happened, it's already happened to us. It will repeat itself based off of where we are in the current landscape of things. The other thing is, if you know you've been through worse, then you know you're a survivor. You're more than a conqueror, as we would say, more than a conqueror. These weapons, they form, but they don't prosper. They don't prosper. The eye is always on the sparrow. You see, these are things that I find comfort in. He will never put too much on you that you can bear. These are mindset shifts. I know it's Christianity or whatever. People, some people, but this helps me. And I gain, clarity and happiness and peace in knowing that these things, like the weapons form, but they don't prosper. Okay? They can do whatever they want to do. They can do whatever, but is it going to work? No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to come into fruition. It's not for me and mine, period. And if you have that level of faith, if you have that level of confidence and courage and different things of that nature, then you know that you can withstand anything that come your way. And you should be happy just off of that. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to find that sunshine. It's hard to find the sunshine, but I'm trying to give you a little sunshine. I'm trying to give you a little something. Let me give you a little sunshine, okay? Focus on your sunshine. In the Bible, it tells us like a whole bunch of times that we should not fear, okay? They tell us all day, every day, don't fear. Don't fear. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. They never said that it wouldn't be gonna be some scary stuff out there happening in the world. They never said that. They said don't be afraid. Okay, they tell us don't worry about tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow don't worry about itself. That's what they said. That's what they said. And I'm not the holy roller, because I feel like, Christianity influencers is on the rise. And I don't want to talk about that because I'm not in other people's business. I don't be in people's business like that. But I feel like, people need tangible and concrete concepts that they can implement in their lives today. Okay, today. And the other part is, what do you look like being an influencer, trying to influence somebody to buy a product when the world is going down the crapper? That's what they said. That's how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? I feel like, it's unethical, right? Is that right? I don't think that's right. And so me in good conscience, I can't vibe with that. That's not who I am, right? And I feel like it's important to address what's going on, but also to provide solutions, because I don't ever want to harp on the negative things. And so I draw strength knowing that, the weapons form, but they don't prosper. They don't win, because we're more than a conqueror. We can do all things, right? They said all things. They didn't just say 1 or 2, 3 or 4. They said all things, right? And so if you know these things, then you already know that you have the victory. Period. You already know you have the victory. You know you won already. And so if you know that you have the victory, if you know that you're more than a conqueror, if you know that the sun got to come out tomorrow, okay, listen, then you know that you're gonna make it. You're gonna be all right. We're gonna always be all right. Black people have been through the worst thing imaginable, and here we are standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. Period. So believe me when I say you're going to be okay. That's why I shifted my channel. I wanted to shift my channel because I feel like there's more than enough people doing hair, more than enough people doing all these different things, and I just don't see enough of inspiration and motivation from a tangible thing, and it's just like, you can have aspirational content. You absolutely can. Like soft life. When most people think of soft life, they think of, luxury, and I aspire to that. But I just kind of feel called to just share, leading by example, showing you going to the park. We can change our reality. We don't have to live within the confines of somebody else's algorithm. We can change our lives one person at a time. You can change your circumstances, and that's what I care about. That's to loose them shackles up, okay? So you can what? Exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. So That's just the mindset shifts. I have notes, and I didn't organize my notes, y'all. I should have did that. You know, I just want to share. I just don't want to come off as being dismissive because other people have problems. For instance, yesterday while I was at the park, apparently there was this lady on the highway in a camping chair or folding chair in the middle of the highway with a 6-shooter. I don't know if we can say that. I didn't say that, YouTube. But she had it in the middle of the highway, and it was dangerous. I seen the clips. Didn't we just get through talking about straws last week? What would possess this lady to be in the middle of the highway? Okay. What is going on? Okay. It held up traffic for 5 hours. Now, I've been in some bad traffic, but 5 hours? Yeah, but here's the thing. The people that were in the traffic were experiencing a bad time, okay? I knew nothing about that. Not saying that it didn't happen, but I didn't experience it. In fact, I was supposed to be going to the hair store yesterday. I was supposed to be going. Whatever day it was, I was supposed to go to the hair store because I'm going to get back into roller setting. But I need more of these. These are the 2.5 inch, 2.5 inch rollers. But they don't have all of that at Sally's. So I got to go to the hair store. But I don't want to go. Something told me not to go. We went to the park and we came home. Okay, we came home and we ordered Uber Eats and we went to sleep. Okay, and then I think it started raining. Okay, that was my day. But somebody else was in 5-hour traffic because there was a standoff on the highway. You see what I'm saying? Now, I had the idea to go to the hair store, but I didn't go. I made the choice not to go. I could have just said, I'm gonna go anyway, but I didn't. That comes from cultivating inner peace, inner strength, inner intuition. Some said don't get on the highway. I don't watch the news. I don't know nothing about no news. All I know is I didn't think it was a good idea. I just didn't feel like it was a good idea to go. You know what I mean? And sure enough, I was right because I was gonna have to take that route to go to, because there are no hair stores around me. The best I can do is Sally Beauty, and it does not require me to get on the highway. You see what I'm saying? And so it's crazy how things happen. Somebody else is going through, but you're not. Not saying that we're discounting other people's, situations and things like that, but it's just kind of like that didn't happen to me. It's almost, I'm not going to say final destination, but it's just kind of like, if you have your inner strength. Another thing, say you're in a scary movie. Most scary movies wouldn't happen to us because we wouldn't be there. Sometimes, if you're not there, it can't happen to you. And you would only know if you cultivate your spidey senses. The spidey sense said, don't go. That's what they said. They said, don't go over there. They said, you shouldn't be in here. You should not be there. Or just listening to messages. Sometimes some people will tell you, hey, you shouldn't be here. I don't think this is the place for you. I don't think that this is cultivating that. But what happens when you are so disconnected from your external environment or just nature that you don't heed the messages? Something said don't go, but you didn't think it was serious. You don't have any, and I'm gonna talk about that. That's gonna be woo woo, but it's just like it's important to cultivate your inner knowing. But I feel like the technology that we have is designed to keep you detached from cultivating that inner knowing within yourself. You can call it whatever you want. But it is designed to keep you from cultivating that inner knowing, that inner connection that you have. Whatever you want to call that, you have to learn to cultivate that. And I'm going to talk about this today. We're going to talk about strategies and different things of that nature, like things that you can do. And that's where we're going to get woo-woo. And I understand that it's not for everybody. But I feel like as much as things are happening in the world that are tangible, these are real things that are happening, it's important to know that the new cycle is designed to keep you in fight or flight, okay? The other thing you should know is whenever something is happening with this hand, something is also happening with this hand. Sometimes things happen and it's a distraction to keep you from focusing on other things, okay? Just because, listen, Diddy, I understand, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into that. But my question would be to you, there are high profile cases that never made it to trial, that should have made it to trial. My other thing is, who is training people like that? Because he didn't figure that out on his own. You see what I'm saying? But those people will never be brought to trial. Why? You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. I'm not going to get into it. But you have to start thinking about things in a larger scale. And if you thought about things in a larger scale, you would never get no sleep. You would never go to sleep at night. I'm telling you right now. And I can say that. I can say that. You would never go to sleep. And so here's the other part. We have to shift it. Right? We have to move differently, because everything is spiritual. In my opinion, there are no coincidences. Everything is happening the way somebody set it up to, but we have to cultivate that inner strength, and what you bring attention to, what you think about on a regular day basis, you manifest that. You bring that in your life, into form. Okay. In the Bible, in the first chapter, they say the first thing we had, was the words. But before you could have had the word, you had to think about what you wanted. Okay. Before you start talking, you thinking about it. So your thoughts, what you bring attention to, what you thinking about every single day, you say it. When you say it, things materialize. And so if you know these types of things, you shouldn't be thinking about what somebody else wants you to think about. You should be thinking about what you want to think about. Are we being dismissive? No, we're not being dismissive, but we have to maintain our focus and our concentration. Most people don't know this. I've been doing research on the algorithm for YouTube and other social media platforms to figure out how to grow my channel. YouTube is the longest standing social media platform. YouTube, despite what people think, is ran off of watch time. Watch time is how long people are going to watch your video. How long they're going to sit there and watch your video. That's all it's about. Maintaining attention span. Now, when you do YouTube shorts, you're watching so many videos within the span of a day. Those attention spans are not worth as much money as, say, a live stream. Live streams are underutilized. They don't want you to know that part of it. And I've been doing the research on it. All of the most successful, and I might make another video, but all of the most successful YouTubers were streamers. They were able to maintain attention spans for long periods of time. You have to maintain, that's what it's all about. Can you cultivate somebody's attention span? So your attention is worth money. You see what I'm saying? How many ads can they put in one particular video? How long can you keep people sitting there watching you? You see what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about with social media. So it's just kind of like, if you know that, then you know that your attention is worth dollars and cents. You have to protect your attention. You have to protect your mind. You have to protect what you think about. You have to protect your emotions. The most powerful way to manifest things is how you feel about it. You have to be able to control that. That means you have to be able to regulate your emotions, your nervous system. It has to be regulated. It has to, because if you can never get out of fight or flight, then you can never think clearly. You can never make the right choice that you need to make. These are things that I don't really see a lot of people talking about. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't really see a lot of people talking about that. And I'm sorry if I'm getting too deep, but before you can cultivate happiness, you need to understand why you are not happy. You have to. And then when you start looking at doing inventory, like, why am I not happy? What is going on in my life? Why? Because it's oftentimes it's the same thing happening over and over again. You're trying to figure out, like, why am I living in a loop? What's going on? Okay? When you start shifting things outside of you shift yourself, then everything else is going to change as well. You see what I'm saying? And so that is what I care about. I don't really care about like all that other stuff. Like, I just, I don't care if I, like, influencing people to buy products that you don't need. I was never a good salesperson. I was not, just because I don't care. I do not care. I care about people being happy. I care about people finding fulfillment in their lives. I care about the truth. That's what I care about, truth and service. And the truth is not always what people want to hear or profitable. Okay? Because if you were able to provide somebody with a cure, you're not gonna make no money. That's why they need you to be sick. See, I don't care about being sick. I care about solving problems. I care about cures. I care about things of that nature, you know. But I'm also like an experimenter, because I don't believe that one solution is a one-all fix-all. You see, so you have to try different things for different particular types of problems and things like that. So I just want to share all of that. I didn't mean to get so deep. I'm so sorry. But I just feel like, you know, and I think really it's my fault. I shouldn't have been on the news. I was looking at more things to do because, you know, YouTube gives you tips on how to fix your YouTube channel. And they kept telling me, look at current news. And that's how I found the B. Simone thing. And now I can't do it. I'm sorry, because you see what I'm saying? I feel like it's a good topic, but I just feel like I have to take me a little break from that, because when I started looking at other things, I'm like, oh my God, all of this is happening in the world. It's worse. But it's just kind of like, you have to know that your soul is anchored. Okay. Now we got to get into the strategies. And I'm sorry if I'm talking fast, but I'm trying to cover a lot of information. So we're going to talk about solutions, being solutions oriented, and strategies. Okay, solutions oriented and having particular strategies and different things of that nature. Okay, let me find that paper. All right. So, strategies for maintaining your sanity and getting some type of happiness. Okay, strategies for that. I'm gonna say shifting. You need to change, like, of course, your environment. So going to the park and different things of that nature. We already talked about that. So moving on. Say you're in one space. Okay, I would definitely say the music that you listen to. Now, I'm not gonna say that you gotta be holy roly, but some things that really, really helped me is listening to them old school gospel songs. Okay, Mississippi Mass Choir. I'm from Mississippi. It works. If I put on Mississippi Mass Choir, okay, near the cross, I don't know, I feel so much better. Now, that's going to be different for everybody, okay? You might have a different gospel song, but for me, near the cross, okay, Grace and Mercy, woo, gets it every time. It just knocks whatever we was feeling, knock it right on out, you know, and that's good. Like, say you at work and you experiencing some stuff or whatever the case, so you can put the music on, you can change that, because that's going to change the atmosphere around you in that particular moment. Sometimes you need a woosah, okay? Woosah. Okay, and so yes, gospel music helps. Now, some people don't like, you know, gospel music or whatever the case may be, or they don't even like Christianity and different things like that. For me, I respect it, and I talked about in my other spiritual videos is that I respect what my ancestors respected, and so they listened to Shirley Caesar. And now I understand why. I get it. I never understood what grace and mercy meant until I went through something and it was grace and mercy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I never understood near the cross until I went through something and I was like, keep me near the cross. Absolutely. I stand on it. I do. I really do. And it has been very helpful for me. It's going to be different. I have a whole playlist for that type of music. Okay. And I'm just going to say that order my steps, say, things like that is really helpful. Like, I never understood those hymns and them hymnals. I never understood it, but now I do. I never understood the Bible verses. I never got it. Like, you can do all things through Christ. I never, until I came and I thought I couldn't do something. And then I'm like, I can do all things. I'm the head and not the tail. These things that we learned when we were children, You train up a child. When they grow up, they don't part. Listen, like all of that old school wisdom, old school. My grandma always said it's a ram in the bush. Now, I went on a date with a guy and I said that, and he was trying to correct me or whatever. And I didn't like that. Okay? Because there's always a ram in the bush. There's always a solution. Now, in the context of how it was happening, maybe it's not the way. But don't question Granny. You don't question Granny, because there's always a ram in the bush. Like if you feel like you don't have a way, you feel like you in a rock in a hard place. Okay, you in a rock in a hard place, and things are going on in your life and different things. It's always a ram in the bush. There's always a solution. We can always clean that up. There is nothing that we can't figure out. That's what that means. But I can't be with nobody that don't understand stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I knew that wasn't the right. He wasn't the right one. He was not the right one. And I was like, thank you, but no thank you. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to explain stuff like that. Like it's not about you. If you know, like I'm not gonna sit here and try to explain stuff like that to you. Like I'm not, because there's always a ram in the bush, because that is true. It's always a solution. There's always a way. Even if you feel like you ain't gonna have a way, there's always a way. And that I find comfort, that these things make me happy. Like when things happening in your life, okay, when things are happening in your life, you need, who is that making noise? I'm sorry, we lied. Like, who is that making noise? Hold on, what you said? Yes, you gotta play the gospel, even at work. They know when I'm playing that gospel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, like you have to remember that old school wisdom, a ram in the bush. You can do all things through Christ, more than a conqueror, right? All of these things. He'll never put more on you. Play that old school Kirk Franklin. Okay, you gotta play it. You got to. You just have to, because and then my soul is anchored. Okay, I don't want to. I think the way the song goes, it's like, even though the winds are blowing and different things of that nature in my life, my soul is anchored. Okay, I go to the rock. We go into the rock, period. Because things around you might be going crazy, but we're stable. We're good. You see what I'm saying? And no, we're not being dismissive to other people, but you have to find comfort within yourself. Okay, within yourself. I am like the rock. We go to the rock. Okay, Jehovah hide me. I am under the rock. You see what I'm saying? We're stable. We're secure. We're concrete. We're fixed. We're good. That's what you have to have, those types of mindset shifts. You see, that's not mainstream. I'm so sorry. It's not the mainstream thing, but it's just like, that's what you need to have for inner strength, inner peace. It said, peace be still, right? And then the other part is, when he was walking on the water, he said, you have to look at me, right? That's what he said. They said, I'm not a Christianity influencer. That's none of that. But I have to share the things that help me. When you focusing on everything around you, you start to sink, right? Because you start looking at, he said we can walk on water, but these people over here said we can't. They said we can't walk on water. So you start to believe that you can't walk on the water. Now, he told you can walk on water if you looking at him and you focus and you stay centered. But everybody else is saying, girl, that don't sound right. That ain't gonna work. You start to believe what other people believe. You start to, see things the way they see things. And if they looking at things from a different prescription, then no, you ain't gonna be able to see this, because you over there. You got to get back over here. You have to stay centered. So that requires you to decenter everything around you. It might be bugs on the rest of the mugs, but it ain't no bugs on me. If you believe that you don't have no problems, then you ain't gonna have no problems. You ain't gonna have no problems, okay? My problem, I went to the park, y'all. And my crystals, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but my crystals, I was wondering, because I have my crystals in these little balls or whatever. I get them on AliExpress for like $1. And I don't know. I found this on the floor, and then, yeah, I'm mad about that. But somebody was in 5-hour traffic yesterday. Not discounting somebody else's problem. We all have problems, but I didn't even know I had this problem till just now. You see what I'm saying? And so if you can shape your mind and things like that, if you believe you got problems, then yeah, you got them problems. So a man thinketh, so is he. That's what they said. They said that. So a man thinketh, so is he. So if you think you got problems, if you think your life is terrible, if you think this and that, then yes. And that, look, and back on my other thing is like, when you need people to manifest things for you, then you tell them what to think so that they will manifest it. And so when 2 or 3 are what? Gathered. So if we all believe this one thing, then it comes true. See what I'm saying? If I don't believe it, I don't consent to it, it ain't gonna happen for me. I don't believe that. We don't, you know what I'm saying? And that's the type of thing. The other part is, and I don't like to tell people. I'm gonna tell you because we're friends. I know that the area I live in floods. They had an ice storm. They had all these different things happening. Okay. I moved to a different area. I just wanted to move to this different area because I don't know. I wanted to move to this different area. I also took note of who had problems and who didn't have problems. And so I aligned myself with people who didn't have problems. They had a hurricane and I thought it was a thunderstorm. I had no idea how bad it really was. You see what I'm saying? Cultivating the inner strength, cultivating inner peace and guidance and different things of that nature. You will find yourself out of harm's way. You see what I'm saying? But most people, they don't think like that. So that's what I'm saying. It's important for you to cultivate the inner strength. It's important for you to cultivate all of these different things, but you can only do that when you are in tune. Okay? So we talked about gospel music. Gospel music are songs and they're also affirmations. So affirmations, listening to, I showed y'all in another video how to create affirmations yourself. There are affirmations that you can listen to online. And I think it's great to meditate to those types of things. However, you have to keep in mind for certain things, everybody's voice is different. And I feel like you can look this up. Scientifically, it's been proven that if you listen to your own affirmations in your own voice, you're more likely to believe it, right? And you're more likely to see tangible changes in your life. So it's the same thing, same idea of speaking over yourself. They say speak those things that are not as though they are, and they will be. Now, I'm lazy. I don't have time to do this every day. So I record it, all right? And I play it back. That's all that is. That is all that is. I'm saying what I want to bring into my life, but I recorded it. And I just play it and I listen to it. Now, say you're at work. Okay, get you a pair, and I'm not influencing. Look, your AirPods, something that you could put in your ear and then you have your hair down like that. Come on now, listen. And I also listen to the word like that as well. Like, and I need my gospel music. I have this, but I also work in an environment where I'm by myself. Okay, so it doesn't really matter whether or not, but you can't have your beats on at work. You can't have your beats on. You can't have your beats. So I have like my headphones and I listen to my affirmations. I have a video. You can figure out how to make your affirmations. You can talk to ChatGPT. I know everybody don't like ChatGPT, but I use ChatGPT as a assistant. You know what I mean? But I already have affirmations that I can create on my own. But, it's useful. I use the technology that works for me. You know what I mean? But anyway, affirmations. Listening to this. You can listen to this anytime. You can listen to this. I wouldn't recommend while you're driving. But when you're at work, you can listen to your affirmations. Okay? Speaking over yourself. Speaking life over your situation. If you're in a situation where you feel like you don't have a lot of money and different things of that nature, I promise you, if you speak, I believe in abundance, right? I have more than enough. I welcome all of these different things into my life. Listen to it. If you just listen to it like overnight, or maybe even just in the morning when you first wake up, or at your lunch break, I promise you're going to see some shifts happening into your life. Period. It's the tea. It's the tea. Do what you want. Do what you want. Another thing, breath work. Okay, so breathing, deep breathing strategies is going to help you. That is going to help you specifically when you're having like a panic attack, anxiety. Okay, and that has been helping me as well. Don't laugh, but I'm going to teach myself how to play the flute. I'm going to teach myself how to play the flute. This just came in the mail. My grandmother got this for me. I asked her for my clarinet. I used to play clarinet when I was in high school, middle school. I played clarinet, but I always wanted to play the flute. Okay? Yeah. So when we were in elementary, like 5th grade, before you go to middle school, my mom was trying to make sure that we're all in extracurriculars. I wanted to do drill team, dance team, because I thought it would be fun, beautiful. I want the sequins, and plus my mom, she was drill team captain. So drill team is like majorette. So if you ever seen the show Bring It was based in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah. And so that's where I'm from. So yeah, like it was a big deal. And it was very depressing, y'all, because like my mom was drill team captain and stuff when she was in high school and middle school and stuff like that. And when I tried out, I couldn't remember the steps. And so I choked. And so I had to find something else to do. And so they had us like Hogwarts trying to figure out what instrument we were going to play. And because I didn't get the flute right away, I couldn't get the flute. I had to do clarinet, and I was pissed. Talking about somebody that was mad. Now I was good at it. You know, that's another instance where I am good at whatever I do. I'm good at it. But I was pissed because I think also because I'm right-handed. And now I think you have to hold it like this, right? You have to hold it like this. I have my lipstick on and I don't want to mess it up, but I've been practicing with this, and this is going to help me with my breath work. Okay. And then also for the people that are woo-woo, I'm using my sacral chakra to manifest and different things of that nature, and breath work. All of that stuff go together. I can go deeper in it, but I don't really feel like doing it. But learning an instrument and doing all of that, like that really, really helps to regulate your nervous system. It helps with breath work, and it helps to cultivate your sacral chakra. For women, that's important because that's where the chakra that you use to manifest and bring life into the world. So that's what we're doing. Thing is, I think you gotta, I don't know, but I'm gonna work on that. We just got it today. Granny got it for us. The other thing is ringing bells. Ringing bells is going to help you. So just silence, yes, but also music, creating music. That's another thing. I don't want to get into it, but they don't want the kids to know how to use actual instruments. Okay, you need to cultivate real music. Okay, real, like I feel like everything is so electronic, and that's fine, but you need to be able to, music affects your emotions. Okay, in the Bible, okay, somebody, I don't remember who it was having problems, and they sent an angel down to play the harp. Music affects your emotions, and that's why. But I'm using this. I'm going to learn how to do it, and then also it's going to help me with my breath work and different things of that nature. So yeah, but I just wanted to let y'all know. Other thing is, obviously, I have my crystals. I keep them in here. Now, some people think crystals work, and then some people think they don't. But I think they do. They helped me. That's what these are. Like, one thing I don't like is when I'm at work and people run up and say, hey, I like this. Don't touch people. Don't touch me at all, okay? You can admire things, but you just don't touch them. They're not just beads. They are actual. I pay a lot of money for these, okay? But for protection and different things, labradorite. Some people use black. I don't really wear black. If you've ever seen me in person or like on YouTube or whatever, I don't wear a lot of black. I wear light colors, pastels, and a lot of white. The reason for that is going to be that black absorbs energy. So if you want something to get hotter, you will use black. But if you want to deflect energy, like to reflect it over there, you use white. Even when we're doing photography, they use a lot of white to reflect the light from here to here and different things like that. So yeah. Light colors. But that's different for everybody. Some people, it's really your power color. Some people draw, power from wearing black. Some people draw power. You have to do what works for you. I'm just providing another thing. The thing that helps me is the fact that I work at a school and everybody have different emotions. And you can be you could be and talking to somebody and their mood and their demeanor affects you. So I have to reflect that back on that. I don't want to absorb it. I don't want to absorb that. I want to reflect it back. So I'm not absorbing all of that. I'm happy. I'm good. We're better than good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're different, so I need that for myself. Okay. Let me see. Also, these are normal things. Keeping your hair done and your nails done. Also, if you're really, really spiritual, keeping your head covered. That's why I wear wigs sometimes. Like, I feel like I would get a new wig. Every time somebody was getting on my nerves, I would get a new wig, y'all. I need to change my hair. If I keep my hair done, I just notice, and my nails done, I just feel better. Cleaning the house makes you feel better. The smell of lemon makes me feel better. I don't know. Some people like lavender. Some people like peppermint, eucalyptus, all these different things. But I like lemon. Pine sol smells really good. So I like to have some lemon wax melt. So I was mad the other day. Now I like the sugar cookie, lemon sugar cookie, because I like to have sugar, vanilla, and lemon. I know. So these are like lemon sugar cookie and like lemon essential oil, but I have to be careful because I have my dog breathing and I don't want her to have problems as well. What else? I'm gonna talk about my crystals. Now, I don't like to walk. I have my bracelets, but I don't like to walk around all the time with everything. You know what I'm saying? So I have, like, you've probably seen me wear this necklace. It's like a shell. And then I like to collect like lockets off of eBay. And you can put stuff in there. Like this one is really cute. Really cute. It's hard to open with these nails, but I like this one. But it has the holes in it. I have this one that I got off of eBay. But you can't really fit. Like, sometimes the crystals are so big, it's hard to fit. So I have like these. And these are actually called aromatherapy lockets. So if you're into the woo-woo, you can definitely go and look on AliExpress. It takes forever for it to come. But you could definitely do that too, wearing crystals. But I have a variety of different crystals that is going to help you with your inner peace. So it just depends. Like I said, labradorite is going to do some protection. And I think that's pretty much it, because I focus on shifting my thoughts and energy. Like, I don't really need a lot of protection. I have it, but it's just kind of like, sometimes we think the problems are outside of us, and sometimes the problems are inside. And so you have to cultivate negative thought programs that you have inside yourself. You have to change how you think and see the world. And before you can make changes, you have to change yourself. Like, sometimes we think everybody else is a problem. What if you the problem? So, yeah. By solving yourself, fixing yourself, then you can change things around yourself. Like, I don't know if I'm making sense. But I'm trying to make sure I cover everything. I just want to make sure I covered everything. But, I think, because I don't really wear a lot of black, and a lot of the protection stones or whatever are going to be black, and I don't wear black. Yeah, I work on other things as well. So, there's just a little woo-woo. I have to put it all in there because happiness, peace, you need that. I feel like we have to cultivate happiness. We have to cultivate peace in these times. And it starts with shifting where you are, what you're consuming, and just your thoughts. Okay, like, that's really what it is. Okay, and soft life is different for everybody. Some people like, you know, it's luxury and different things like that. But in order to attract luxury, you have to be a vibrational match for whatever it is that you're trying to. So if you want to have luxury, then you have to be a match for the luxury. Okay. It's like a musical note. You have to hit the specific note, right, to bring whatever it is that you want to bring into your life. Okay. Yeah. You can't be scarcity and want abundance. Okay. So that's what it's all about. Okay. I hope I'm making sense. This video is an hour long, and I'm sorry if it's long, but I feel like it's gonna help somebody bring some peace, some happiness, some joy in there. And I just wanted to make sure I covered everything. So shout out to Melissa G. She said she's meditating more, staying away from negativity. So yeah, like, I want to say thank you to everybody that watches and comments and chats and different things of that nature. I'm sorry if it's not the vibe, but I don't know. I just feel called to share things that I feel like matters. And if there is a lack of a particular type of content out, I want to do that. I don't want to do what everybody is doing. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Because I feel like there's already enough of this particular type of content. I feel like we need to focus on things that can actually help people today, things that you can put into your life right away. Another thing I like to do is go to sleep and wake up on a schedule. When the sun come up, we're up. When the sun is down, we're asleep. We have to be on this starts with a C, but we have to be on the schedule of nature. We have to. We can't be up all night. And so something that I do that's also is tangible is like at 7 o'clock, my phone is going to be yellow light. There's a difference between yellow light and blue light. So I put that into play on my computer and on my phone. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Also the food that you eat, but you already knew that. You already know. But it's just like, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I wasn't talking too long, but I hope you found this information helpful, and I hope that it brings you peace, happiness, love, joy, and understanding. Okay, have a wonderful day, and I will